The Cardinals coaching search is old, just like the Colts. Right now they are narrowed down to 3 finalists, reportedly. Brian Flores, the assistant coach with the Steelers and former head coach of the Dolphins. Mike Kafka, the Giants offensive coordinator. And Lou Anarumo, late arrival onto the scene, the Bengals defensive coordinator. Flores due to have a second interview on Wednesday. Look, we've talked about this at length. I just think that if you're not going to hire Sean Payton, you better hire Brian Flores, because he's got head coaching experience and the others don't. And he's got a very viable lawsuit against the NFL. And now, if you don't hire him, it looks like you didn't hire him because he engaged in illegally protected activities and he's being retaliated against. I don't, proven coach versus 2 coordinators who have yet to coach. I'm going proven coach 100 out of 100 times.
I mean, I would too, probably. But at the same time, we all know that owners are just going to do whatever the hell they want. And that's why they're in the lawsuit in the first place. So, we can sit here and say, Brian Flores makes a lot of sense to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, and I think that he does. Look at what he did with Miami. Look at how he kept that team going last year when they were really, really crappy. What are they, 1-6, 1-7?
Yeah.
And they end up with 9-8. So there's reason to think that Brian Flores is a very good head coach in the NFL. But at the same time, like we've seen in this coaching cycle, I like Frank Reich too, and I don't mean this as a shot against Frank Reich, but when you look at what Steve Wilkes did with that team, keeping that team as competitive as they did, it's hard for me to sit here and be like, it's obvious they should move on from him. Really, why?
Yeah,
I get pushed back from time to time on Brian Flores' record, and I say to people, do you realize his first year, his owner wanted to lose games?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was going along with it for the first couple of months of the season, and realized, how can I, in good conscience, operate this way? How can I do that? And that's when it all turned. And then he becomes the guy that Stephen Ross doesn't want anymore. He won with a team that has been dysfunctional for most, if not all, of Stephen Ross's tenure as owner, Charean.
Well, that's what I like, is he would bring that discipline to this team that obviously needs it. And you wrote about this, Mike, how different he is from Cliff Kingsbury. Now, what I don't like is that he's from the defensive side of the ball. They're going to have to hire a good offensive staff to try to do something with Kyler Murray, who, by the way, you're not going to have for probably the first half of the season, who's not going to be able to learn the offense, which is a new offense. That concerns me a great deal. So you're going to have to work that side of it if it is Brian Flores.
Yeah. My base thing is these are 3 good choices. Flores, sure, is more proven, but none of these are Cliff Kingsbury. Let me just throw a dart at the board and go, well, he wasn't that good at college, but my quarterback likes him, and I think it'll work in the NFL.
He was bad.
I think
it'll work. Offensive coordinator at USC and fell up into an NFL head coaching job. How the hell does that happen?
It is actually amazing when you speak it and say it out loud. You're like, how the hell did that happen? Yeah. But Flores, you hit on all the right points, and it will be a culture shock. Listen, I don't think Lou Anarumo is going to be much different there either. I think he's a hard ass just like Brian Flores. It's going to be like, no, we do things this way, and we're going to do it that way, and it's get in line or get the hell out of here. And Kafka, he's definitely one of the young up-and-coming minds. And again, even though proven is always a good thing, we've seen, Shanahan 3 of the last 4 NFC Championship games, right? We're seeing Nick Sirianni in year 2, Super Bowl. And Kafka's been around Dayball and Andy Reid and some guys where you go, well, this isn't from Texas Tech college world, and all of a sudden he's going to be a head coach. He's been trained the proper way. I don't think you can go wrong with any of these 3 candidates, in my opinion.
And Myles, to your point, the owners are going to do what they're going to do. But the fact that Michael Bidwell is at second interview level with Brian Flores is telling to me. He's a lawyer. He was a former prosecutor. He knows that there's danger in getting your hand close to the fire. It's almost better to not even consider Brian Flores, although I think when the dust settles on this coaching cycle, Brian Flores doesn't have a head coaching job. And Steve Wilkes obviously isn't going to have one either. The Colts, all those people they interviewed, the Colts didn't bring in Wilkes or Flores, especially if they hire Jeff Saturday. There's going to be some blowback on the back end. But I think that Flores is very viable. I've been hearing that for weeks now, and I won't be surprised if he ends up being the next coach of the Cardinals. It'd be good for the Cardinals. May not be good for Kyler Murray because he's going to get coached like he's never been coached before, but it may make him better on the back
That's right.
end.
He needs it. He needs
somebody to say. You don't need a homework clause in your contract. You need a coach that's going to say, "Do you want to be great?"
Exactly
and
right.
I'll help you get.
There's been too many red carpets and rose petals on the ground for Kyler Murray, and I love Kyler Murray. I know you do too. This is not. I'm not trying to say this to be negative. It's been too comforting for Kyler Murray. Football's not supposed to be comforting. You're supposed to have a guy, as we talk about all the time, with a hot poker up your butt going, hey, let's go. You got to get better. You got to lead the team. You're not good in this area. Brady, of course, had that. And Mahomes, as we talked about earlier in the show, Andy Reid, Bieniemy, they're always challenging him. So that, to me, this is going to be a good thing, I think, overall for Kyler Murray.
And great players want that.
Absolutely.
They want to be coached hard like that.
Right.
That's exactly what they want. They don't necessarily need the flowers and rose petals. Well, you were just talking about there's some.
Well, you've seen the rose petals on from the Eddie Murphy movie, Coming to America.
I've actually seen that movie. Right. Strangely,
you're not a movie watcher.
No,
not from the '80s.
But coming to America,
before he was born.
But King Joffrey Joe Moore, who's Earl Jones, they put rose petals at his feet all the time, and that's where I feel like Kyler Murray's had that going on for a while.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.